Hey, my Pilates people, welcome to my channel, Connect and Move. My name is Jessica. Today I have for you a Pilates in the Details reformer. The only thing that you're gonna need for today is your squishy ball. We will be kneeling at some point, so if you need a pad for that, go ahead and have it handy. Your reformer will be set up for footwork, and if your body allows for it, have your head rest up. It doesn't have to be all the way up, but at least one notch up. And like I said, if it doesn't agree with you, you can always have it down. For springs, we have on 2 mediums and a heavy. For my balanced body people, that is 2 reds and a green. So like I said, Pilates in the Details reformer. Gonna be really working into just the micro Pilates of Pilates, right? The inches, the millimeters, and obviously the details, right? You know, this is where I love to be. And let's get moving. So let's start with your ball in between kind of your heels, ankle bones-ish area. So not quite up onto your calves, but further down closer to your heels. Let's just rest your heels onto the foot bar to start. And then let's just find heavy ribs, heavy tailbone. Find some space between ears and shoulders. And now I want you to bend the elbows just to 90. Our palms are gonna be flipped facing in. And I want you to see if you could get the upper arm bones into the mat. So I can already feel my collarbones are opening a little bit. I can't quite get the whole back of the arm into the mat, but I'm gonna fight to hold this position. Now without the ribs flaring, without anything else moving, can you open the hands out to the side and then bring them back together? They open and then they come back to that start position. So I don't know about you, but the further out my hands go, the more that my ribs want to pop, the more the back wants to arch. And also my elbows feel like they're pulling away from my ribs. So upper arm bones stay hugged in tight to your body. We go to where we can. Let's just do 2. And 1. Bring the hands back to that start position. Now flip your palms facing you, all right? They stay facing you. They open out to the side. We kind of lead with the thumb side of the hand and back to center. And again, upper arm bones, they're trying to stay into the mat. Let's just do 3 and 2 and last one. Bring it back together. Now flip your palms facing away from you. We lead with the pinky side of the hand. We go out and in. And then think of this movement coming from that upper back armpit area. And there's also no change of the head and neck either. I felt like my chin was just steadily wanting to go up to the sky. So I have to think of like having a slight nod there. Let's just do 2 and 1. Awesome. So now can you keep your upper arm bones into the mat and just place your arms down? So I'm gonna press my palms down here. I've got a hug in on the ball. Now, remember our headrest is up, so we're not gonna come up crazy high here, okay? So take a big breath in. And then on your exhale, I want you to wheel the pelvis back and find the tiniest tailbone hover you can. And pause right here. Now, take a big breath in. And then on your exhale, let your chest just kind of soften into the mat. Maybe you hollow out the belly a little bit more. And then articulate all the way down. Let's do that again. Pelvis wheels back. So see if you can get equal weight from your last rib all the way up through your upper back. Aha, and then roll back down. So I know I talk a lot about finding the weight down through the low ribs, but today let's see if we can find like equal weight across the upper back. So I've got to think of nodding my chin a little bit and then articulate back down. A couple more times here. So as our pelvis is rocking forward and back, Upper body, arms, head, neck, shoulders, they are not changing. Now settle your tailbone down into the mat, reach the arms up to the sky. Let's flip your palms facing your foot bar. You can have long fingertips or fists, doesn't matter, but I do want you to find a little bit of protraction here. Feel how that can like settle the whole back or the upper back into the mat. Now, peel the tailbone up, pause, see if you can get that kind of balanced weight in your upper back. Hold, 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 and then articulate all the way down. One more time like this. Pelvis wheels back a little bit. Now see if you can find that opposition up through your fist, down through your upper abs. Maybe you can even find a deeper connection to your stomach and to your butt creases. Hold, 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 and then articulate all the way down. Nice work. Let's take the ball away. We'll come back to it. Just place it down somewhere close. So let's bring our heels back on about hip socket distance apart. Arms can be up or down. It's whichever you prefer. So let's do that again. I want you to wheel the pelvis back. Find that tiny tailbone hover. Slight nod to the chin. Now, can you keep your pelvis stable and just float one leg up in the tabletop and then lower it back down? Other leg comes up and down. So I'm thinking of my stomach muscles and my hips supporting me right now. So it's not just all butt and back of the legs. It's a lot of stomach as well. Keep that sensation of pubic bone rolling back to the navel. And we're trying to not let the hips wobble. Let's do 2. Remember that nod to the chin. Last one. Place the foot down and then articulate those last couple of vertebrae down. Fabulous. Let's drop the headrest all the way down. All right, so now we're gonna play with a little bit bigger bridge. Heels are still on, arms are weighted into the mat for everybody. Take a big breath in here, and then on your exhale, the pelvis wheels back. We roll our hips up into bridge. We pause at the top. We think of our knees reaching past the toes, the chest being soft, and now torso goes down before your hips as you articulate all the way down. Let's do that again. Remember that kind of inner thigh hugging in on the ball sensation. So as we lift up into bridge, our chest is soft, but our upper arm bones are into the mat. So hard. There's your chest expansion right there. Good. Couple more here. Just finding that connection, or keeping that connection rather, to your stomach and your back body. And roll it down. And the last one. Carriage stays in. Think energy out through the crown of your head, out through your knees, and even out through your arms. And then articulate all the way down. All right, let's stretch your legs out over the foot bar. So I want you to find a place where, because we're gonna do a straight leg bridge here. So I don't want you on the back of your knee. So if you're really long, well, then you probably have the carriage geared out. But if you're at that spot where you're like, ooh, you know, I don't know if I can, it's not comfortable, right? Maybe you're on the back of the legs, right? The back of the thighs. As long as you're someplace it's not gonna be painful. So my legs are zipped up here, my toes are pointed, and I'm in parallel. So kneecaps look up to the sky. I'm gonna press down through my arms, I'm gonna press down through my legs. And now same thing, pelvis wheels back. I'm gonna lift my hips up. I'm gonna pause right here. Same kind of hip points, kind of drawing up to my ribs, chest is soft. And then I'm gonna articulate all the way down as best I can here. Let's do that again. Roll your hips up. For me personally, I have to think of my kneecaps almost rolling in because I can feel like they want to go away from one another. And then we articulate all the way down. Now we're going to add some feet movement here. So toes are reaching long as we roll the hips up. Pause here, find your long line. And now I want you to flex your feet. Think of pushing your heels away from you as you roll all the way down, down, down. And I felt like my feet wanted to pull apart. They wanted to look away. So try your best to stay parallel here. And that's what I mean by like legs rolling in, because that's what, at least that's what it feels like to me. And then we're gonna stretch the waist, keep hugging your big toes and inner ankle bones together. Wow, I felt my inner thighs kick on way more. Again, toes point, we roll up, and then we flex the feet. Think of inner edges of your heels reaching away, upper thigh bones hugging in as you articulate all the way down. Can we do one more? My inner thighs are talking to me. Roll up, and then roll back down, down, down. Awesome. Okay, headrest can come back up if you prefer it up. And then let's grab your ball again. I want you to place the ball back between your heels and your inner ankle bones. So you're on all 10 toes and you've got a little bit of a Pilates V. Nothing crazy, right? If you have a super big ball, try to limit this like knees going crazy wide. Think knees in line with your shoulders. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm centered. Arms are heavy. I'm gonna find my long line. Now I am going to squeeze that ball with my inner ankle bones. So it almost feels like my feet are rolling in for me a little bit. Now I'm gonna keep the squeeze in on the ball. Do not let the ball change. I'm gonna bring the knees together and then I'm gonna open the knees out, but do not lose the squeeze on the ball. And then bring it back in. Still on all 10 toes. So the wider my knees, the more my inner ankle bones come in. And just see how far you can go. I know like when I cue this in a class, people are so consumed with like, okay, I got to get my knees wide, wide, wide. Not really. This is more focused on keeping the squeeze in on the ball. And I don't know about you, but I'm immediately feeling my hips kick on. And this is why I talk about the big toe and the big ball of the foot staying heavy. Okay, now we're gonna take the ball away. Place it down, come back to your Pilates V, all 10 toes are on. So, imagine the ball's back between your ankles. There's just a little lift of your heels, nothing crazy. Push the knees a little bit further apart, but think inner ankle bones hugging together. Now just press the carriage out and then pull the carriage in. Torso is stable, of course. And just see if you can kind of find that connection of ball between inner ankle bones and that hug in. And what I'm feeling right now is inner thighs. Inner thighs like crazy. But that's me. All right, every day is different. So let's just do 2 more here. Remember, palms are pressing down, ribs are heavy, and then drag it all the way in. All right, let's come on to the arches. Legs are as zipped up as you can possibly get them. Alrighty, so let's reach the toes over the foot bar, like you're lifting your heels up, and then wrap the heels under. Let the toes pull back to your shins. I'm gonna wrap the toes over, and then I'm gonna reach the heels under. So even if you cannot get your legs all the way together, meaning like big toe, inner ankle bone, inside of the knee, upper thigh bone, you're channeling that ball between your inner ankle bones, okay? Find that, keep it, and now curl the toes over. So we've got that pull down on the foot bar, and now press the carriage out. And then we hug the thighs together as we pull the carriage in. So what I notice here in myself and in a lot of people is like once we get the ankles together, the knees want to come apart. Once we get the knees together, the ankles want to come apart. So we're just constantly fighting for this like hug in of the entire inside of the leg. And And hopefully we're feeling a little bit more back body than what we typically do, just because we did all that back body work, right? It's fired up, it's at the party. Let's go ahead and drag it all the way in. And now let's come onto your heels. So instead of being right in the center of your heels, I actually want you to be kind of at the heel pocket, which is like right where your heel meets your arch. That's where we're gonna be. Okay, about hip socket distance apart here. Now before we press out, I want you to flex the feet hard. And now I want you to feel like you're pushing the foot bar forward, but also up to the ceiling. Hello, things. All right, press the carriage out. Keep this kind of digging of the heels up, 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 up. And now when you come in, I want you to pull down on the foot bar. So as we go out, we kind of work the front of the legs a little bit. And then as we come in, we pull down, we work a little bit more back of the legs. And as always, when we do this, we are not letting our torso and our pelvis change shape. But I'm even feeling my butt there as I pull up. Good stuff. Just make sure that our knees aren't doing wonky things. And maybe even checking with your toes and seeing that they are still looking up to the sky. Let's just do 2 more here. Last one. And bring it all the way in. Okay. Hello, shin bones. All right, so let's come back down to that Pilates V. Remember, of this kind of spiraling in of the ankle bones, every toe pad is connected. Let's go ahead and press the carriage out. And now I just want you to let the thighs kind of soften and relax. And if that cue doesn't work, think of the thighs reaching away from the hips, all while keeping your ribs heavy. Now continue to let the thighs soften as you push the heels down and under and hold. Even if your heels aren't together, find that ball connection and then lift the heels right back up. We push the heels down and under and then lift them right back up. So again, we are not tucking our pelvis, we're not contorting the spine to get more range in the ankle. In fact, for a lot of people, and for myself included, I almost have to think of like sticking my booty out a little bit as my heels lift, because that's really where I see people want to tuck. So let's just do 1 more here. We lift the heels, go ahead and bend the knees, bring it all the way in. Awesome, okay. So let's go ahead and just roll you up. I'm gonna take off my heavy spring. And I think for today, I'm gonna do a light and a medium. So that is 1 red and 1 blue for my balanced body people. Let's do that, let's do it. So let's lie back down. Again, make sure that you're centered. I want you to grab onto short straps if you have that option. But either way, when you have your arms straight up to the sky here, I want you to be in spring tension. So hands are over your shoulders. I'm gonna wrap my fists around. Okay, so my feet are just resting on the foot bar for now. But even here, I want you to create as much space between your hands and your chest. Feel the entire back sink heavy. So even tailbone heavy, low back, ribs, upper back. Now bring 1 leg up into tabletop. Bring the other leg up to meet it and pause. So see where you need to connect to your back. What do you need to do to get every part of your back into the mat? I'm already shaking. You're gonna keep that. Carriage is not gonna move. I want you to reach the arms up, find a little bit more protraction, and then slide the arms back down. Slide the arms up a little bit, and then slide the arms back down. So just a little bit of a protraction, and then back to neutral. Now while you do this, think of the shoulders drawing away from the blocks. Legs are hugging in. Let's just do 2. And last one. Boy, this is tiny. And back down and then find your feet to the foot bar, and then just take a quick moment. So here's your opportunity. You wanna make things harder on yourself, you grab onto you stay in the short loops, and then obviously the opposite is true with the long loops. It's all gonna be challenging. Okay, so let's take the arms back up. Let's find a little bit of that protraction here. Hold back into the mat. Legs come up into tabletop. Pause right here. Go ahead and lower the arms down. Now see here if you can connect the entire back of the arm into the mat, all while keeping the ribs heavy. So hard. And then float the arms back up, keeping the collarbone broad. Again, arms come down, reach, 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 and then float the arms right back up. So you guys know this movement comes from the back, from the armpits. Now I want you to lower the arms all the way down. See how long you can make your arms and see how much space you can create between the shoulders and the blocks. Flip your palms facing in. Do not let your shoulders creep up any more into the blocks. Open the arms out, 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 and then hug them back in. Whole back stays into the mat. Arms go out. Stretch your arms across the room, y'all, and then pull them back in. So this is why I talk about opening up your wingspan, because a lot of times the shoulders immediately creep up to lift the arm. Last one. Arms go out, stretch them out, and then pull the arms back in. Flip your palms facing down, float the arms back up, lower the feet down. Take a moment here. All right, so we're gonna play with some timing stuff here, kind of. So arms reach back up to the sky. You can find a little bit of that protraction. Feet are resting on the foot bar to start. Now this is gonna be different for everybody, but right now I'm not quite in tabletop. It's like this, my knees are in front of my hips. That's just because of obviously leg length, strap, all that stuff. But the bend of your knee, the angle of your hip, keep it the same, all right? Arms punch up to the sky. I'm just gonna see if I can just lighten my feet off the bar just a hair. Like they're still touching, but they're really light. Hold back into the mat. Okay, so now as I lower the arms down, my feet, they just pull away. I keep the same angle of my legs, and arms come up. My feet barely tap the foot bar. Oh, I know, much harder than tabletop. We don't even have to straighten the legs. We don't even have to lift the head. So keep thinking of drawing your front ribs to your back ribs and finding a long reach with the arms. Last one here. Lower the arms all the way down. Find that one last reach. Float the arms back up. Find that slight protraction at the top. Now bring your legs more into a tabletop position. Do not let the arms or the carriage move. Take the legs off to the right. Let the left hip lift, but keep the left rib heavy. And bring the legs back to center. Legs go over to the left. Make your right arm a little bit longer. And back to center. Or legs go over to the right. So feel your right arm reach further up, but your left ribs draw down. And back to center. I'm feeling stomach like crazy right now. Back to center. Can we do one more each side? Buddha, am I doing it right? He looks so peaceful over there. And I'm shaking. Legs over to the left. Right rib heavy, 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 y'all. Back to center. And then lower the feet all the way down. Thank goodness. That was kind of intense. Okay, let's roll you up. And then let's come to one medium spring. So one medium spring, I'm gonna flip around. I'm gonna sit crisscross applesauce facing the back of my reformer. If you wanna have legs straight out, by all means, you do you. All right, so if you're sitting crisscross applesauce, I want you to uncross, recross your legs because we have a favorite side. Okay. All righty. And if you rolled your eyes, I roll my eyes too when my teacher asked me to do that. Okay, so I'm gonna grab onto the long loops. And you guys know if you need to readjust, you readjust. So I'm gonna hug my elbows into my sides here. And I'm gonna start with my palms facing in. Let's do that. So I've got a good grip on the straps here. Now, before I move, I'm gonna kind of wiggle around and I'm just gonna feel, am I level down through my hips as best I can, right? Whether legs are straight or crossed here. And then I'm gonna think of like when I'm lying on my back. And I'm gonna think of trying to find that long imprint. Just like we do with the arms and straps, just like we just did. So I'm gonna try to connect the whole back into that imaginary mat. Back of my ears are lifting up. My elbows are reaching down. Now I'm gonna try to keep those upper arm bones exactly where they're at. And now we just open the hands out and then bring them back in. So we did this in the very, very beginning. So take in that feedback from that with no resistance and apply it here. Now, once again, because I'm trying to make this a really big motion, I can feel once my hands go out, I really want to puff up my chest. I want to push my ribs forward, but I have to think of ribs pulling in as my hands go out. Let's just do 2. And last one. Okay, now I'm gonna flip my palms facing up. Okay, obviously there's a firm grip here. Same thing, upper arm bones stay locked in place. They just spiral as we open the hands out and then back in. And then when the hands go out, you might be feeling this like opening across your chest or like the collarbones pulling apart. Try to keep that sensation of broad collarbones even as the hands come in. So many opposing actions happening right now. Let's just do 2. And last one. Now we flip the palms facing down. Now we lead with the pinkies. So we kind of push the pinkies out. Way harder position. I felt like my elbows immediately wanted to like kick out. And just constantly be doing this scan of where are my ribs? Where is my neck? Am I still sitting up tall? Last one. Ooh, not sure if my left shoulder cares for that one. Alrighty, so I'm gonna reach the arms out in front of me. I'm barely in spring tension. Same thing, we are gonna hold that shoulder girdle still in space. My palms are flipped up. I'm gonna do a bicep curl. Hands into the shoulders, and then extend back out. So even if your elbows are low, high, wherever, they stay still in space as you bend and extend. And right when I go for that bicep curl, I feel like my torso wants to come forward, my spine wants to do all kinds of crazy things. It's a lot of postural work here. Still keeping the sides of the neck long. Let's do 2. And last one. Now bring the arms to more of a 90 position. You've got a firm grip on the straps. We're gonna open the arms out. Let the palms rotate. So now I'm pushing the back of my hand into the strap, and then I'm gonna rotate around, my palms face me. I'm gonna rotate my palms. So I'm kind of going to this goalpost action here, and then hands rotate back to me. Once again, spine stays stable and long, and I'm thinking of my elbows reaching away from me, away from me, away from me. So it's as if you had the shoulder blocks at your shoulders and you were trying to not let them creep up into them. Ooh, hello upper back for 2. And last one, grow taller, taller, taller. And then arms back forward, extend the arms out. Let's flip the palms facing down. So obviously we have to clear the knees if they're wider than the carriage. So I'm gonna reach my arms down and back and pause here. So as my fingertips are reaching down to the floor, my ears are lifting up. Hold, 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 and then slowly release the arms forward. So this point where your arms are at your sides or maybe even a little bit further behind, this is you in footwork. This is you pressing your arms down into the mat, feeling your ribs connect to the mat. Maybe it's arms and straps, right? It's all the things. And then slowly release the arms. Again, arms pulled down and back. Arms get longer. They even hug in on the side of the frame. And then slowly release the arms. Again, arms pull down and back. Maybe you find the collarbones pulling apart a little bit more. Hold, hold, and then slowly release. Now we're gonna do 3 with the palms flipped forward. So really find this like external rotation of the arms. So my elbow creases are almost looking away from me right now. Same motion. Arms pull down and back, arms are razor straight. We hold, 2, 3, and then slowly release. So in this position, I'm almost thinking of pushing my index finger side of my hand into the straps. Ribs in. I just felt like I was popping those ribs out. Last one. We hold it back. We hold. Hold. Let's turn our head to the right. Oh, that's a lovely stretch. Turn our head to the left. And then turn your head to center. And then slowly release. We've got one more thing here. How are we doing with that upper back? I'm going to grab on to my long loops like so. Okay. So my palms are flipped down. My arms are straight out in front of me. Now, once again, create as much space between your hands and your chest. Arms stay straight. I'm going to take the arms out wide to the side and pause. Hold. Now remember the move that we did when we were lying on your back, arms and straps. Think of the shoulders pulling away from the blocks and your hands reaching away from your center. And then arms come right back in. And I just felt more things when I said that. Arms go out, we push wide with the fist, push across the room, and then slowly back to center. So as hands go out, I'm thinking of reaching from my first and second knuckle. Reach, grow taller, lift the ears, and then back to center. Again. So if you're feeling anything in your neck right now, make your arms longer. I know I already said it, but maybe lower the arms down a little bit. From the upper back, hold, hold. Okay, last one here, I promise. Push out wide, front rib to back rib connection. Hold, 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 and then arms come forward. Awesome. Oh, hang up those straps. Wow. Shake it out. Maybe give yourself a little twist. Okay, woo. Let's grab onto your ball. Now, we're gonna do some side lying stuff here. So if you prefer your ball for your headrest, I would say, which is fine, I would say grab a towel, maybe like a hand towel, and we're gonna use it in place of the ball. Yes, so I'm gonna place my headrest up. Highly recommend that for everybody. I'm gonna come lying on my side. So I'm facing you, so I'm on my right side. I'm now gonna take this long loop and I'm gonna place it around the top of my thigh. Now I'm gonna take the ball and I'm gonna place it in between my ankles. So exactly how we did at the start of our footwork. All right, so my knees, thighs, hips are all stacked here. I'm gonna think of finding my length from my head to my tail. Now, before we even move the legs, I want you to squeeze the ball. In fact, think of trying to pop the ball with your inner ankle bones. There we go. Don't lose this pop on the ball. And now lift your top knee up. Keep squeezing it on the ball, keep squeezing it on the ball, and then lower the knee down. Lift the knee up, keep squeezing the ball. Don't lose that squeeze, y'all. Wow, that's already so much more intense. So while my top foot is pushing down, my bottom foot's pushing up. So bottom leg is working here for sure. And like a lot of people, this is a very general cue. Think of your top hip rolling forward a little bit. A lot of times we want to roll back to make this motion bigger. No tension in your head or neck. Squeezing on the ball, y'all. Squeezing on the ball. Now, lift your knee up to wherever you can. Feel like your inner ankle bones are coming together. They're going to touch right through that ball. Now, squeeze in on the ball. Squeeze in on the ball. So like little pulses, keeping your knee lifted. So remember, it's coming from both feet. Bottom foot pushing up, top foot pushing down. I'm feeling all kinds of things. All kinds of things. Carriage is quiet. For 2 and 1. Good. And then lower the knee down. Now you want to take the ball behind the back of your knee. Bottom leg stays anchored. Alrighty. So I'm going to lift this leg up to about hip socket height. I'm going to flex my top foot. I'm going to keep my front rib to back rib connection. And now I'm going to just take the foot back like I was kicking the wall behind me. Now hold right here. Can you think of opening up the top hip crease, or maybe just ironing it out a little bit more, keeping the squeeze in on the ball? And now bring the knee forward. All this motion is a bridge, y'all. So foot goes back, hip might feel like it's going forward, and then knee comes forward. So the shape of my spine doesn't change. My knee is reaching to my foot bar, and then bring it forward. Don't lose the squeeze in on the ball. Foot goes back, hip to rib connection stays the same, and then bring the knee forward. Let's do 2. So many things. Last one, push the foot back. Now bring the leg more in line with the bottom leg. Now we're just going to lift the leg up a little bit and then lower the leg down. So the whole leg lifts this time and down. You keep trying to smash this ball. Now, whatever lift or lightness you have through your bottom ribs, it doesn't change. So again, we are not contorting the spine. We are not shortening the waist in order to lift the leg. That second side's gonna be tough. My bottom leg is on fire. For 2, think of leading with the back edge of that heel. Last one, lower the leg down. Awesome. Okay, we've got a whole nother side to do, y'all. Let's take the strap off. Bring it all the way in. Alrighty, I keep wanting to go. Strap on the foot, strap on the thigh. Let's see how this side does. Okay, try to get your shoulders and hips, legs stacked, all the things. So find your head to tail length. Now before we even lift the knee up, squeeze it on the ball. Think of your heels coming together. Keep that sensation. Try to lift the knee up and down. Oh my, y'all. Push those heels together. The higher up you want to bring that knee. So we're trying to channel these kind of granny panty muscles. Squeeze in on that ball. This side's gonna be rough, y'all. Remember, the higher the knee, the more you smash the ball. Wow, this side is something else. Try to release some tension from your head or neck, or both. Now lift the knee up and pause right here. We're gonna do those little pulses on the ball. So the knee doesn't move. It's like you're bringing the heels together. Wow. Woo. This is so tough. Remember, bottom foot pushes up just as much as your top foot pushes down. Let's do 4. Hang in there. 3 and 2 and 1. Good. Lower down. Wow. Oh my. Ball behind the knee. Let's do it. Whew. All right, we lift the leg up. You squeeze in on the ball. Foot is flexed. We take the foot back and we pause. So just like in your bridge, this is eventually going to be your kneeling position that we're going to come into after this. So think of this really strong opening through the front of the hip. We're ironing out that hip crease, and then we're going to rock the knee forward. I push the foot back like I'm donkey kicking something behind me. I squeeze the ball. I push back through that heel and then rock the knee forward. Now, just like we do in our bridge, the higher the hips, in this case, the more the hips are feeling like they're ironing out, the softer the chest and the ribs. Squeeze that ball, squeeze the ball. Bottom leg is anchoring you down. Let's do 3. Find your butt crease, find the back of the legs. So again, low back should feel nice and long and open. Last one. You might have been getting like a thigh stretch sensation. Bring the bottom or top leg back in line with your bottom leg. We're gonna lift the whole leg up and down. So whatever connection of your waist that you have to the mat right now, it does not change. We don't get heavier, lighter, heavier, lighter. We stay long. Think no wrinkles in the side of your shirt there. Or we're not creating any more. Wow. How about that ball? Are we still hugging in on it, or have we lost that connection? I did. Let's do 3. Hang in there. And 2. And last one. Go ahead and lower the leg all the way down. Wow. Let's take the strap off. Let's bring it all the way in. Is that boo-boo down there? Hi, baby. Okay, grab your knee pad now if you need, because we're gonna come kneeling facing your foot bar. So my feet are going to go up against my shoulder blocks. Ball's gonna go in between my knees. I'm gonna grab on to those long loops. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let's do this. We're gonna change it to a light spring. So take that red or your medium spring off, come to a light spring, not your lightest, just a light spring. Now, if you are uncomfortable with facing the foot bar, you feel unsteady here, you can always keep your hips down. You can always do it seated. You can always do it with no tension. We have lots of options. So hands in your long loops. I'm gonna come up into this active kneeling position. So my arms are just long down by my side. We were just in this position, y'all. So I want you to think of heels driving back. My tailbone is heavy, and I'm trying to iron out the front of these hip creases. My booty just kicked on. So I'm gonna get a firm grip around the straps, and I'm gonna take my hands in front of my hips. So kind of on my hips, in front of my hips. My elbows are wide. All I want you to think about doing is reaching the elbows away from you. Reach them away from you, and think of the shoulders just kind of gliding down. Now with as little movement of the shoulders as you can, let the palms rotate naturally. Just take the arms out and then bend the elbows right back in. So my palms are facing in when I start. They rotate and face forward as I go out. You can always take the hands lower if you need. It's a lot on the shoulders. So remember the shoulder blocks at your shoulders when we're lying on our back. Think of them being there now and not letting the shoulders creep up anymore into the blocks. I'm getting a lovely stretch on my chest right now. I don't know about you. Let's do 2. And last one. Now lower the arms down by your hips. My palms are still facing forward. I'm gonna lift my arms up so carriage will move. I'm gonna allow my palms to rotate down a little bit. I'm gonna take them out wide and then bring them back together. Just adding more movement here. The connection through my heels stays the same. My pelvis does not change. Feel free to make these smaller or bigger. Each time my arms reach forward, I'm finding a little bit of that protraction. And as my arms go out wide, I'm thinking of keeping the sides of my neck long. Now, could we reverse it for just 2? Because we did quite a few in that direction. Remember that front rib to back rib, like we've been finding everywhere else. Awesome, arms are going to come down. And we're now just going to take those straps and then put them back. We're gonna keep the light spring on. We're gonna place that medium spring back on. So for a balanced body, that is a red and a blue. I'm gonna take my hands to the foot bar. I'm gonna squeeze in on that ball. I'm gonna drop my head, puff up the back. I'm gonna sit my hips back to my heels, just a little bit, not all the way on. There should be, I don't know, a few inches back there. Now, can we find protraction here? Just like we did with arms and straps. So my hands are going forward, my sternum is pulling back. Now, can you keep the shape of your spine, press back through your heels, only to where your knees go underneath your hips, and then pull the carriage under. Just go back to where knees are under hips and pull it under. So that donkey kick back that we did lying on our side, same thing. We're just rounded now, y'all. Just rounded. So the further back my feet go, the more I'm thinking of lifting up through my ribs and lifting up through the front of my hips. Now maybe we could go a little bit faster. Just see if you can keep all of these arrows of energy. Sides of the neck are long, still keeping that space between chest and the bar for 2. And 1, pull the carriage in. Okay, I'm now gonna take the ball, just place it down. And now I'm gonna bring my right foot forward. So I'm kind of hooking it around the front edge of my carriage. If this, for any reason, feels weird or awkward, right, find a place where your foot is, like, you don't feel weird or awkward, either forward or back, but you're still in this hip socket distance apart. So I'm rounded. I'm lifted through the belly and the ribs. My front heel is lifted. Without moving the carriage, without changing the shape of my spine, could I hover that back knee up? Hold, 2, 3, and then lower the knee back down. Hello. Keep that front heel, little lift. Don't let it move either. Hover the knee up, hold, 2, 3, and then lower back down. Okay, we're not even gonna move the carriage in this one today. We're not. So we pull the bar apart, I drop my tailbone, I hover the knee, hold. Now see how deep you can round, see how deep you can drop that tailbone, hold, hold, and then lower the knee down. Yowza, 1 more. Whoo, pubic bone to navel, hip points up to ribs, hold, 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 and then carefully lower down. Right foot back, left foot forward. You're trying to keep that back heel connection. Again, drop the head, front heel lifts. Now, before we even move on this side, think of that left hip kind of spiraling back, right hip spiraling forward a little bit. Now hover, hold, round, 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 and lower back down. The weight is more into my legs than my arms. 3 more times, we got this. Hover, hold, 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 and then lower back down. I don't know if y'all can see this shake happening. It's real. Whoo, lift the belly, lift the ribs, hover. Keep trying to create space between chest and the floor. 2, 1, and lower down. See, who needs squats when you have these? Oh my goodness. Okay, last one here, I promise. Drop the tailbone, find your inner thighs, even though the ball's not there. We hover, hold, hold, hold. Maybe hold some more for 3, 2, 1, and then lower all the way down. Ooh, take off your light spring. Okay, so we're left with one medium spring. My hands are on shoulder width distance apart, and I'm in a little bit more of a flat back here than rounded. So I'm gonna keep my left hand on the foot bar. My right hand is gonna go into the small of my back. Okay. Get your feet equally connected to the shoulder blocks as best you can. Now I'm gonna straighten my front arm. I'm gonna press the carriage back just a little bit. Carriage is not gonna move. I'm gonna rotate. I'm gonna twist to the right, making sure that back isn't like crazy arching. I'm not doing funky things with my hips. Push through that left arm and then rotate back to center, bring the carriage in. I'm gonna press it out, big reach through that front arm. It's just my upper body rotating. So I almost have to think of my right hip coming forward a little bit and then back to center. Press it out. I'm hoping this feels good. So equal push through your feet. Long left arm, back to center. Again, press it out. We rotate, 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 and back to center. Right hand comes on. So we're trying to hold our lower half stable, just the upper body is rotating. So that's what's great about having your hand here is you can feel if your hips are doing all kinds of crazy things. So a little push of the carriage out, right arm is straight, and then here, like I already felt that left hip, like almost like I wanted to initiate from the hip rather than from my ribs and my upper back. Push it out, carriage doesn't move. And if something's not connecting, like you feel like you're not getting it, try, maybe shifting the hips back more, maybe more forward, see if that helps. And in this twist, we are always thinking about getting longer. One more here. Front rib to back rib. That connection's always there. Make that right arm longer, 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 and then back to center. Oh, that felt so good. Okay, we're gonna stay on this spring. We're just gonna finish a little side bend because I know we didn't do much of that today. So I'm seated kind of in the center of my reformer. My feet are down. Now, if you have a really low reformer, just walk your feet out a little bit so that way it doesn't feel like your knees are into your chest. But legs are zipped up. Feet are going to stay where they're at. Left hand comes onto the foot bar. It's either in line with me or it's in front. Alrighty, so right arm comes up. I'm gonna push the carriage out. So I'm gonna straighten that left hand. So now my feet are to the left of me. They're no longer in line. That's okay. I'm gonna side bend up and over, and I'm gonna push into my feet, and I'm gonna think I've got one leg. So knees, inner thighs, all together, and then bring the carriage all the way back in. Oh, that's magical. Press it out. Big reach through the arm. So even here, I'm thinking of creating space in my back, space between ear and shoulder, up and over, and then bring it back in. We got one more? We got one more. Anchor through the feet. Chest is open, neck is long, and bring it all the way back in. Oh, that felt good. Okay, other side. Legs are zipped up, feet start in line with your torso, right hand on, left arm up. I'm gonna press out first. Keep reaching through that right arm. So just like the twist we just did kneeling, push through the arm. Make the arm longer. Hug the knees together and then guide yourself right back in. Again, press it out. We find that up and over. And without letting the shoulder hike up into the ear, we bring the carriage right back in. Last one here. Remember, front rib to back rib. I feel like this is another one of those times where we really want to like arch the back in this side bend. And then we guide it all the way back in. Y'all, such good work today. If you stuck with me to the end, As always, please let me know your thoughts. Yeah, I enjoyed this. I needed this like nitty gritty, but I still felt a lot of things. So I appreciate you being here. I hope to see you again. Thanks, y'all.